Welcome to the first installment of Between Two Trikes with your host Preston Frazier of This Old Trike. With me today is Tim Keister from the great state of Pennsylvania, and we thank you, Tim, for coming and joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to take this episode to do some mutual question and answer sessions, if you will, and leading the sessions today, Tim is going to be asking the first question. He's come prepared. I'm going to take more of the free flow approach to this video. So, without further ado, Tim, that's small writing. Wow.
Yeah.
You have some.
Yeah, I took many classes for writing. This is a multi-question.
Okay.
What types of riding have you done? What is your favorite type place to ride?
What types of riding have I done? I'll answer that by starting out with my preferred method of riding is not riding at all. It's actually pushing. I'm a good trike pusher. I believe personally that Honda designed trikes to be pushed. But when I do ride, trail riding is probably the most riding method, technique that I've done growing up. Riding in the woods. We've talked earlier on the mud flats. I'm not a big mud person. I don't like to sink my machines in a mud hole like some people like to. But local to us here is a wide open area of riding. That when the conditions are right, we like to go. So mud, to some extent, you don't have to hit the mud, because that means you have to get your machine dirty, and that goes against, my policy. But
Sure.
what was the second part of that question? What is my
What is your favorite place to ride?
favorite place to ride?
Or favorite place to push?
One of my favorite rides is a place in the local area that I think it's more sentimental than anything. Buck Mountain is a great ride. It can be technical, it can be rocky, but that's fun to go up, and I think that goes deep in to the nostalgia banks. But you mentioned going out to Glamis, and that has always been on the bucket list. I'd love to experience that someday. I just don't even know what it's like. So
it's something that you really have to do it to.
Yeah.
You put it on your bucket list and make it happen.
Yeah.
It's a must do.
Yeah. All right. So that's the first question. So geez. My first question was more technical, and it's not. I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but on the ATC, specifically the hardtail series is where you see the steel rim models, stiffening rings. Are they really doing anything?
If I had $1 for every stiffening ring I have taken off and not put back on, I would probably have about $40.
There you go.
I don't think they do anything. Besides add weight.
Yeah.
And that's unsprung weight, so
yeah.
Let's maybe start a trend of doing away with those.
And the reason I asked that is because I don't know if you noticed on the front of that 200 ES, I forgot to put the stiffening rings back on. So, and I was committed at that point. Axle was in. There's no going back, even though I have to take it out. But I still probably won't put the stiffening rings.
Yeah. And are you in favor? Or?
I would agree. For the style in which you're going to ride that machine, do you really need it? It's already got 2 layers, and it's bolted to a nice rigid hub. That's pretty stiff.
Probably more Honda overkill.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Great question.
Thank you.
Yeah. Question number 2. I'd like to know a brief history of Honda Hoarders, and are you a founder or co-founder of Honda Hoarders?
Okay. Great question. The time was 2017, fall. My friend Vincent Staffa of cat hoarder fame more recently, reached out to me and it asked me for a picture of my three-wheeler collection at the time, which probably consisted of about 20 machines, maybe.
Okay.
And I said, "What's this for?" And he goes, "I'll let you know when you send it." So, okay. So I moved some machines around at that time, lined them up, sent him a picture, and he was setting out to create a new Facebook group for three-wheelers, because there was only about 30 at that time, not to mention Three-Wheeler World and every other three-wheeler forum. But he wanted to create something that, not to mention specific groups, but there was ones that were more locker room talk, if you will. There were ones that had gotten a little bit snooty, and he wanted one that was just, you weren't going to be made fun of if you asked a question. The language was going to be tame, and it was going to be friendly. So I believe the name was coined by Mitch Rapucci, not intentionally to be used for a Facebook group, but maybe I'm wrong. But Vinny Stafford started the group, added myself, Mitch Rapucci, Greg Jr., Peyton Pietramala, and Ryan Mallon as the admins, and we still are to this day, and that was 5 years ago. They're coming up on 5 years ago.
And there's what, 30,000?
49,000, I think, the last
Coming up
time.
on 50,000.
Yeah. There's other groups that are bigger, but as far as Honda exclusive groups, I think we're one of the biggest. So
wonderful.
And that was 2017.
Fast growing.
Yeah.
I believe Three-Wheeler World, as it might be history-wise, I think it topped out around 15,000 members, I think, somewhere around there. So it really shows you the difference between Facebook and regular forums, which are kind of becoming dinosaurs.
Yeah. I think I might account for 3 of the 15,000 though, because I kept forgetting my password, so I kept having to create a new one. And that's why I wasn't more active, I guess, is if I was logging into somebody different every time.
It's very possible there's only a couple hundred members there.
That's funny. Well, that was a good question. So I'm underprepared. So let's see. I mentioned to you earlier about my worst wreck. What was your worst wreck on a three-wheeler?
My worst wreck on a three-wheeler was at Malvern Raceway, which is in eastern Ohio. I'm gonna guess it was around 2014, 2013. No, that's not right. I'm gonna guess it was around 2010. It was when the OTC was really hitting their stride and hitting the local tracks. I speed checked a friend up a back huge double, and I fortunately made it. And I'm like, woo, this is great. And we'll call it the stick of death. Actually, my air filter had come unhooked from my carburetor. It sucked in a small, it was shaped like a needle, a carb needle, just a little small piece of wood, and it held my, it held the throttle open. It sucked it in there. So as I landed this jump, I let off the gas and I'm still going about half throttle into a set of whoops.
Wow.
When that happened, I kind of bailed. The trike went one way. I ended up on my head, kind of doing a head slide for, I don't know, 5-10 feet.
Yeah.
And, it messed up my neck pretty good for several years, probably. Still have some residual damage, but by far that was the worst, most painful wreck.
That explains a lot. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Sure.
Yeah. Wow. Stick of death.
The stick of death. I kept it around for a while and decided it's bad.
Do you think the stick was in your airbox? To get in there,
it would have had to have been, and I was not running a airbox lid at the time.
Okay.
This was a first try at a 450 conversion, so things didn't maybe line up perfect.
Okay.
So yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. Ugly day. Very ugly day. Boy, this is going to be this is a good question for you. What is your favorite ATC? Why? And how many of them do you have?
I don't think it's any secret that I am a lover of the 350X. I would say that is my favorite, even though a 250R is faster. A big red, you can sink in a mud hole better. Mitch Rapucci has done very well sinking 350Xs into mud holes. So that kind of moots that point. But my affinity towards 350Xs is probably rooted in nostalgia. I had my first when I was 15, and it was an 86, and loved that machine. Bought that in 96, sold it in 2010, and it was a void that was created that it took over 100 three-wheelers to fill. But
that's some void.
Yeah. Why do I like the 350X though? I like the all-around power. You haven't got to worry about keeping it in a power band so you don't foul the plug. Great trail machines. I've gone places on them that you'd think you wouldn't be able to, that you'd need an automatic or utility machine to get to. And for my weight, that is the power I need. A 200X won't do it. So I didn't have a 200X until I was about 38, and I realized I didn't miss anything. So, but how many do I have? I currently have 3. One is my rider. I have a nice 86. I have a nice 85 that currently won't run for reasons we discussed earlier. But I have an 85 and an 86 project that one of these days will see the light of day. So
very good.
I think the 85 will be a OEM restoration, and the 86 might be something to ride. So
or push.
Yeah.
Very good.
Wow, now it's my turn. So it is no secret that you are a proponent of 200Ss and their superiority to the 185S. Can you vocalize why? And I'm open, why? And I don't have a bias towards either. I kind of put them in the same category. Why is a 200S better than a 185S?
That is a very, very easy question to answer. And we both like three-wheelers an awful lot. I love a first generation ATC 250R, but by comparison, what is better? An 82 250R or an 86 250R? Well, it's obvious which is better performing. Better looking is, you can't really say that but better performing, better suspension, more power. It's just, you can go down a long list. Honda built a 185S and they said, this is a very, very good trike for children and women. Let's build one for the men.
Yeah.
And so they built the 200S.
Right.
And the rest is really history. I mean, they quit building the hardtails after the 200S.
That's true.
In 86 because Honda said, we got this right. There's nothing to improve upon.
I would say the 200S is a better looking machine.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. Although that is subjective, but I certainly agree. And I think that, a lot of people would agree with us. Men would agree with us.
Of course.
Yes.
Are we allowed to say that anymore? I don't know what the correct language is.
I don't know.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Well, good. Now it's your question.
Yes.
What is this, 4? Is this 4?
This is number 4, and this is a big one.
Big one.
Yes. Trikes are from over 50 years old to 35 years old. Which was the best built? I need to take my glasses off. Which was the best built Will they still be running in 50 years, 100 years, 200 years? Which was the best built for longevity, and how long do you foresee these things running around on planet Earth?
It's a great question, Tim. Which is the best built? Well, I think we can rule out two-strokes because of being a little more temperamental and more prone to being rebuilt. Not that they're not awesome machines, but we got to start somewhere.
True.
Then we can go, I think we can rule out chain driven. Or I'm gonna go there.
Mm-hmm.
Because the strength of a shaft drive machine is quite durable. So that rules out many models and leaves us with what? Big Reds and 250 SXs.
Mm-hmm.
I need to look at the fleet for a minute. I mean, a 250 ES Big Red is a pretty darn stout machine. What, is it more stout than an 84? Arguably so, based on your logic of, chronology. So I'd say the best built would have to be a 250 ES Big Red, probably an 87 or an 88, with the advancements made in those particular years. Will they be around in another 50 years? So what would 50 years be? Well, I would say some, of course. Obviously, I'm not riding mine. So for as long as I hold mine, we can gain on that, whittle down that 50 years. So I'd say there's some.
Okay.
Some will. Beyond that, I don't know. Are we going to survive 50 years? We being the human race, with all the things the news tells us to be scared of. I don't know that we'll see that, but
aren't we to be scared of three-wheelers?
Yeah, yes.
The news told us that.
Al Gore, if you look at those records.
Hey, he invented the internet, did he not?
He did. And look what that's done.
Yeah. Well, I'm not even going to get into the Tipper Gore and the albums,
Mm-hmm.
the parental advisory.
Mm-hmm.
She came up with some of this, and a lot of that was very harebrained, but we won't go into the Tipper.
Yeah.
Tipper.
Yep. Tipper.
Leave that for another day.
Tipper, I hardly know her. Next question. All right, so that's your fourth, so my fourth.
6.5 hours later.
This is where we'll have to edit. I have a question. You expressed earlier you have an affinity towards 200Ms.
I do.
Would you say they're your second favorite machines outside of a 200S?
Mm.
And if so, why? And if not, what is your next favorite?
That is a really good question.
Thank you.
I would put a 200M right with a 200S.
Mm-hmm. In the garbage?
Not in the
No.
garbage.
Oh, I mean,
No,
in the garage.
in the
garage, I misspoke.
The 200M is just as good as the 200S in my eyes. I'm not going to say one takes second fiddle to the other. I love the idea of hopping on your hardtail and pushing a button rather than giving the old yank cord a yank. I like that they're a wide body. They're a big tired machine.
Mm-hmm.
It's got everything going for it. That said, if I were to pick a second favorite machine, it would most definitely be a second gen 125M. The 86, the 87s. They are right up there, and got a real soft spot in my heart for those as well. So I think they're just fantastic little machines.
I have a follow-up question. 200Ms without a rear rack. Stupid or cool?
I prefer No rear rack.
No rear
Yes,
rack.
I
Wow.
have, neither of mine have rear racks.
Wow.
I am a bit of a fan. Maybe you can see it back there. Of Trike set up like your 86-200S.
Yeah.
Front rack, no rear rack.
Huh.
There's just something about it. It just does it for me. So
Interesting.
final question. This is a good one.
This is a good one.
Yeah, it might be
deep.
Yeah, this is deep. It's a lot to think about.
Okay.
But it's a short question. What is your favorite media / Hollywood at ATC? Favorite ATC in movies, music videos,
Okay.
even current media, you know?
Okay.
You got
I'm going to name some that are popular, but aren't my favorite. Yeah, obviously, James Bond, US 90, the silver. I think they look silver, whether or not it was custom color.
It was.
That's cool. Not my favorite. Police Academy. The white big red. Very cool. Not my favorite. I didn't think about this one until just now, but I'm going to say this is not my favorite. Dukes of Hazzard 250Rs. Very cool. Second favorite. I don't know if I'm missing out on any other than the one I'm about to name, but in last year, Independence Day Parade in my hometown, I put a float in that we talked about, and I put a playlist together, and on that playlist was Tears for Fears. Everybody Wants to Rule the World, because of the scene at the end with the 250Rs in the dunes where, I hear that song, that intro, and that just takes me to that scene. You got the weird guys in tuxedos dancing by the gas pumps.
Yeah.
And then ripping 250Rs because that goes together. And then they blow by him and kick up all the dust, and he's just singing away.
Yes. Very good.
I'd say that. Those.
It's the best one. Are you familiar with Anchorman? They put together a movie of lost footage, and the cast of Anchorman are riding 200Xs.
No.
Not sure if you've seen that before,
No.
but yeah, it's another one. It's a newer one that I've recently come across. It's I'm not going to say it's my favorite, because I wasn't asked.
Yeah.
But I'm a huge Will Ferrell fan, so.
I think there's another three-wheeler scene in, I don't know, Smokey and the Bandit, or maybe Smokey and the Bandit 2, like the one nobody watched, or
Not sure on that one.
a fleeting. I might be confusing it with something. Anyway.
We can't leave out the median. Go check it out if you hadn't. Tanner Pies knows this fellow. I'm not sure his name. I'm sure he can chime in. But the guy that's riding a 185S out in California, like up on his roof and doing grinds.
Yeah.
Can't think of his name. That's a very good media trike nowadays.
Yeah. What's his name? Is it Cole?
It is Cole.
He's a cool guy. Andrew Sherwood is a guy that's been putting together interviews on YouTube, and he interviewed Cole. I can't think of it. That's a cool story on that machine.
Yes, it was like family.
His dad sold it on him, and he got really upset with his dad and found it and bought it back, and now jumps his house with it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. That would be a deal breaker for my wife and I. I've done wheelies in the dining room. I've done some really neat things, but riding them up on the roof, I think she'd have something to say about that. So, I guess that might be a good transition to what might be my last question, which these are all off the cuff except for maybe the first one. Have you ever brought a three-wheeler into your house or a place a three-wheeler shouldn't be? And if not, do you think you might in the future just cause?
I have not put any three-wheelers where they shouldn't be yet.
It sounds dirty when you say it that way.
It does. It doing it would feel dirty, I think. I've often wanted to put one in the house.
Yeah.
My bride, I don't think would appreciate that. She's already we've spoke briefly about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's pretty lame of me. But maybe someday, just someday, I might surprise her. So we'll see.
So I've got a picture from 1996 or maybe 97. I brought my 350X in the house when my parents were out to dinner. And I got pictures of it in the living room. So that's, I think, the first time I did that. And I realized then that I liked it.
Did you get it out before they came home?
I did. It was a quick photo op. The cat came by and sniffed it a little bit. Approved, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it's continued on from there.
Okay. Well, French doors really is where you want to be.
Yeah.
To do this.
That would be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that. I have a 4 foot, well, an 8 foot, 4 foot each, but it's not really a true 4 foot sliding glass door, and you can do a lot with that.
Yeah.
But you got to get creative.
Yeah. Well, if you ever replace it, I would certainly go with the French door.
Yeah. We have a French door going into our bedroom.
That would be a really nice place. Could you?
That's possible deal breaker.
Could you get it up on the bed?
I have to getting it in the balcony is probably the first problem, but I do have a tractor now. So anyway, well, I guess that concludes things. Unless you have anything, parting comments.
I don't.
Parting shot.
I don't have anything. It's really been my pleasure to be on
Yes.
the first episode, and I
Yes.
wish this episode all the best luck.
Yes, thank you very much.
You do have some of the best viewers out there.
I'm very thankful for all my viewers and future viewers. And if you enjoyed this, and I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't, but if you did, tune in for more poor quality videos like this one going forward at the Festival of Tricycles at Haspin Acres. I leave in 2 days. Make that one day, as it is quite early in the morning. But from myself and Tim Keister, thank you for watching, and have a wonderful evening.